Imagine waking up one day and discovering that you're no longer yourself. Not because of a physical illness or a great loss, but because something inside you, in the heart of your mind, has begun to wither silently. You lose the ability to concentrate. You forget what you were good at. You fear silence. You run away from questions. You move away from books and drift towards content that neither enriches nor satisfies. This isn't a figment of the imagination. This is what we call today brain rot. In this episode, we won't just tell you about the danger, but we will walk with you on the path of return, a return towards a clearer, smarter, and deeper life. This is more than just an episode, it's a cry for rescue. We'll talk here about the difference between relaxation and mental surrender. Why is the frequent boredom not a simple symptom, but an alarm bell? How to kill yourself slowly while thinking you're relaxing. First, what is brain rot? It's not just about the death of nerve cells, but about the death of the desire to think, about the stagnation of curiosity, about the repetition of days, as if we live one version that doesn't change. Brain rot is not a scientific term, but a description of a dangerous mental and spiritual state. When you close the doors of thought, and the voice of questions fades, and the voice of the self disappears, imagine a mind that feeds only on fast content. It doesn't read, it doesn't contemplate, it doesn't challenge itself. This is a mind that turns from a living engine into a still vessel. Secondly, where does the collapse begin? The brain doesn't rot suddenly. Rather, it dwindles with every decision we postpone, and every question we don't ask, and every moment of silence we run away from. Education based on memorization, work based on repetition, relationships based on courtesy, not depth. All this extinguishes the spark of mental life. Then come the toxic habits. Addiction to moving between applications, waking up on the phone and sleeping on the phone, consuming news without awareness, disturbed sleep, food without meaning. In this part, we narrate scientific and psychological details, how the brain loses its ability to adapt, and why people in their 30s are afflicted with symptoms that were previously diagnosed for the elderly. Because the brain doesn't collapse suddenly, but withers slowly under the weight of distraction and superficiality and lack of rest, every notification and every moment of disturbed sleep and every meaningless meal takes something away from its flexibility. The neural plasticity weakens, and deep concentration fades, and the memory begins to fail. And because we live in a constant state of alert, the brain begins to consume itself instead of developing its capabilities. This is how a person in their 30s reaches symptoms that are seen in the 70s. Not because he's old, but because his environment accelerated the aging of his thoughts. And why are people in their 30s afflicted with symptoms that were previously diagnosed for the elderly? Because the modern lifestyle consumes the brain as it never did before. Lack of sleep, many distractions, poor nutrition, and a relentless acceleration. All of that keeps the mind in a constant state of emergency. In the past, life gave the brain opportunities to recover. Deep conversation, free time without screens, quiet sleep, and focus on a single task. Today, even rest has become conditional on notifications, and communication has become superficial without roots. And with time, the brain begins to lose its flexibility, and symptoms of forgetfulness, distraction, and mental fatigue appear at an age that is supposed to be the peak of clarity. We didn't grow older faster, but we exhausted our minds more. An important point. It is not the repetition of the bad habit that destroys us alone, but our acceptance of it as if it is natural, as if it is a part of us. Every time you justify your habit, you close a door from the doors of change. Awareness here is the weapon. So don't allow the ordinary to become an inevitable destiny. Thirdly, signs that should not be ignored. The constant feeling of mental confusion, weakened ability to think deeply or concentrate for more than minutes, the constant need for distractions, the aversion to sitting with oneself. Each one of these signs tells you something. They are not just passing symptoms, but strong indications that something inside is collapsing. A very important rule: not every mental pain is an enemy, but much of the pain is an internal call to wake you up. Deal with these signs honestly, because they are not a punishment, but an opportunity to reset the path of your mind and your life. Fourth, the rescue plan. The brain can recover, but not by turning off the phone for one day, nor by reading one book, but through a radical change in your philosophy of life. Rebuild your relationship with boredom. Let boredom create thoughts, not kill it with an application. Allocate time daily for silent walking. Use writing as a tool to understand the inside. Read carefully, not to complete books, but to live them. Reduce digital distractions through simple technologies. Sleep well. Good sleep is not a luxury, it is maintenance for the brain. What is important is not the abundance of attempts, but the quality of the change. Our mind needs a small step every day, constant and honest, to repair what is damaged and reignite its flame from within. Fifth, how to live a living mental life. Do not start your day with the phone. Start it with an idea. Write every morning, even if it's just 2 lines. Do not answer the questions before you ask them. Choose friends who think, not just consume. Learn something new every month. And there are practices that help you every day. Moments of deliberate silence, contemplation without purpose, deep, authentic conversations without masks. What is not important is the abundance of habits, but the quality of practicing them. A small idea, contemplated with sincerity, is better than 10 habits that you perform in haste. Remember, your mind needs situations that ignite it from within, not practices that turn into a dead duty. Sixth, turning point. You're not just the victim of shocking news. Sometimes we love to rot our brains. We love comfort. We love to be exempted from thinking, from accountability, from questions. But you cannot be a complete human being without a living mind. Your transformation begins when you take full responsibility. You are the one who allowed chaos to enter, and you are the one who is able to expel it. Not every mental pain is a punishment, but much of it is a message. The message says, wake up before you fade away. So don't run away from it, but listen to it. Because every honest confrontation with the self is a beginning for the birth of a stronger mind and a more honest life. Take a real decision to return to your mind, to live inside you, to confront yourself without justification. Because if the mind is corrupted, your ability to live is corrupted with it. And if he returned, everything returned more beautiful than it was. Seventh, a golden rule that is indispensable for you is the brain does not renew just by nutrition, but by challenge. Do not ask your mind to grow while you're just providing him a simple, predictable life devoid of all risks. Challenge that creates growth.
And each and every new question creates a unique and a new way of thinking. Every single thing that is challenging causes to rethink, in truth, is a form of exercise to activate the brain.